Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you have the opportunity to join me. I'm Dr. Jan, and this is Russell Institute of Learning Sidebar Education. What an opportunity I had today. I've been able to pull away, to read, to listen to some other people who are confirming to me that, oh my goodness, I'm headed in the right direction, and thinking about that as we come out of COVID and this virtual learning, and we have an opportunity to really impact and make a change in education. Now, the first thing I want to say, I am not trying to find a lot of yes people that we all have to agree. I do believe that we need to hear all of the voices. Everyone should be able to speak up. We should learn how we can agree to disagree, and through that discourse come up with new alternatives and ways to approach education. However, it was just sort of nice that this one gentleman, and I've listed all of the names down in the comments, not necessarily their contact, but if you look them up Facebook, you look them up on the internet, you'll find them. But as they were interviewing, they were talking and giving statistics about our education system. One of them said it's been broken for 100 years plus. You know, I've been saying that it is at least for 150 years. No matter what you say and do differently, it's still been the same, and our education outcome is not up to par. And in watching and listening to them, one of the statistics they were showing is the comparison between charter schools, home schools, and our public schools. And especially the public schools that are in more of the poor districts, that even though they may get more money or whatever's going on, they're not doing as well. So then we have to ask the question, and this is where we have to ask questions versus telling people not to ask questions, and we're just going to keep putting more money and we're going to make more mandates to try to fix it. Well, if it hasn't fixed it yet, I just keep saying, well, what are we going to do different? So in it, they were looking at, again, as parents, as I've encouraged you, that you as a parent should have the choice of where your children are attending because you know your children best. And so that's when my ears perked up. And it also caused me to go back, and I started looking at all of my episodes that I started about a week ago, introducing Russell Institute of Learning, working at renewing education, and I watched them straight through. And I was like, oh my goodness, everything they had said on the video, the interviews, I'd already said. So it was so nice for me to know that there are people out there who are like-minded and thinking that, you know what, the best is yet to come. And now that we've had this COVID and virtual learning, and we see how children are or are not responding, what is it that we need to do? Biggest thing they were talking about is parents, you've got to get involved. You heard me say, if you have to run for school board, if you need to go in and find out what is the curriculum being taught, what is going on in the schools, and getting involved. And what are we measuring? They talked about almost the things I said. You know, are we teaching such an academic that it's actually a dumbing down and making our students so much more dependent on others versus being able to foster their creativity, their independence, so that they can move out and away from the government, their parents? And you know what? Be entrepreneurs. Be someone who is ready to launch out in life. And so as they talked about that, that was really great. And that right now, there's that fight between where do we get to send our children. My daughter at this time, in the school where my grandsons are going, it is a public school. She has sent them to a charter school before, but there was a battle and the charter school was closed. Not really because of their lack of education that the boys were getting, but again, follow the money. And the public school doesn't really want to lose the money. And then they say, but look, if you take the money from here, then we can't give the money to the schools where they go. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to get into the conversation. Are we going to need to do something and show that we really want the control back in our hands as parents, as concerned citizens that our education system is not producing the quality of students that is allowing them to have hope, imagination, ingenuity, and we've just got to start back at square one. And so in it, again, I spoke about how in our school, the Russell Institute of Learning, and how we're going to put morals and values. And they talked about that parents need to be able to expect that their children will be gaining an education that equals the morals of their family. And that the greater the diversity within a school district and in a classroom, the greater the challenge. Students have to communicate. Students learn how to resolve complications and issues that need to be resolved. So again, our schools need to reflect an ability to agree to disagree. How do we still produce a product as a unit of a class? And, I had talked about project learning, that we have to start acting that education is more about preparing our children to be launched as adults. And I'm just wanting to let you know that we need to change our schools into being more training to create our students to be self-starters. So that was the conversation I heard today. And as it inspired me to go back and listen to what I have presented as Russell Institute of Learning for the last week, I thought, oh, thank you, God. You have prepared me for such a time as this. You've given me my talents. You've given me my passion. And I can remember sitting back in, I think it was probably 1979, 80, somewhere in there. They were talking about No Child Left Behind. I was in my freshman, sophomore year of college. And by then I already had my 2 kids, and I thought, I'm going to never get through with school, and they're going to pass me up, and all the jobs and all the transformation is going to happen. I cried in my teachers and advisors class. Oh, I'm going to miss it. You could see, the crest of the wave. It's coming and it's going to pass me by. And you know what? In my lifetime, it's 40 years later, and we still have not even crested the wave. There is so much opportunity that we have an ability to impact a change of our education. And once we do that, we can also change our communities, because we have hope. We do have hope. We have brilliant minds that are being untapped. Human energy, human capacity that is somewhat being squelched because everybody has to be put in a box. You can only learn this at this year, this at this year, and you got to take the test now. What if we could really open up and say, let's meet the children where they are, here's where they need to be, and move them through. And some are going to go faster, some may go slower, some may go left, some may go right, but they all are going to get there. They're going to all get to independence, but it doesn't have to be in the same manner. So I'm ready for the conversation. I'm ready for us to be activists to change our education system, to give hope and light to our children. Please like, follow, share, comment. We've got to start this conversation. And now that I know I'm not the only one, you know what? That's why we've got to communicate. Know that other people are thinking like us, and that when we can get together and include those who don't think like us, Best Resolutions brings everybody together to have a discussion and then make a decision. That's my business background. So let's go and start using some of this knowledge that we have to make it better versus doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's called insanity. Like, follow, comment, and share. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.